Deep below the plains of southern France, in a mysterious process begun millions of years ago, nature herself adds life to the icy waters of a single spring. Perrier. Its natural sparkle is more delicate than any made by man, and therefore more quenching, more refreshing, and the mixer par excellence. Naturally sparkling from the center of the earth. Perrier.
Hello, Matt's not here this week, so I will be your host. With me, as always, is my shaved ape tattoo over here. That's you.
We know of a remote farm.
Deep below the earth.
I did that for you, tattoo.
Deep below.
This week we had returning guest Ty.
Yo!
You were on the Mario show.
Yeah.
It was a good show.
It was super. It was...
I guess you get the claps. All right.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, boom.
This week we're doing Conan the Barbarian, a movie that I had not seen in its entirety in my whole life. I saw it on TV a couple of times, but I never got through the whole thing. Thought it was good, I just never finished it. What about you, Ben?
Same way.
Same way.
But then I've watched it 3 times. All the way through. And also I mixed and watched Conan the Destroyer as well.
It's a worthy follow-up, but it's not as good. It's fine.
It's not as good as a remote farm in Lincolnshire.
Mrs. Perrier was
Mrs.
there.
Perrier was there. Mrs. Conan was there.
No, I think I was telling you that
there.
The version of the movie I watched, I think it was an extended version. I looked up on like Wikipedia. And
I gotta watch that then.
It was like 2 hours, 10 minutes. What was your runtime?
About the same.
Maybe I'm wrong.
I downloaded it.
Mine was like
you don't
2
admit
hours.
that, like online.
I downloaded it when I bought it.
Right, the digital download code.
Download.
Yeah, my Mortal Kombat did that.
Dun, dun,
Ty,
dun.
our beloved guest.
Shucks.
What was your experience with Conan, if any?
I had zero experience with it, and I didn't know anything about it really walking into it. I had zero expectations. So
That's
I was
2
kind
for
of,
2 on our movies with you.
Yeah,
He's a
I was.
millennial.
Yeah, I'm a child.
You call me a millennial.
Yeah, you will.
I was raised by wasps. I didn't have a TV for much of my life growing up. yeah.
Wasp yourself.
They were.
What is there to talk about first on Conan? I'm not sure.
All right, so let's talk about the history of Conan.
Yeah, sure. It was a book.
It was a book in 1933. I think it was a short story. I'm not sure.
I think it was
published
a book.
in a magazine. Maybe it was a book.
The writer killed himself.
And the writer was crazy.
Yeah.
And then it was in public domain. So Marvel made Conan, and so did Dark Horse. So there's different, but mostly Marvel is mostly known for it.
Interesting.
And then
I didn't know it was Marvel.
Yeah.
Huh.
This is
I don't like it now.
This is one of the first Marvel movies. but this is another. No, I think this was its own thing. And then they made the movie that got really popular, did really well. And,
it was kind of magic, without having much magic in it.
Which was why it did really well, I think.
I completely agree. While I was watching it, I thought to myself, wow, they're keeping the magic very understated. I like it.
Whereas the Destroyer, they're more magical. There's definitely a man wrote this screenplay. 2 men, but 1 man directed it.
Well,
he
yeah,
meets a girl, and then he has sex with her,
Yeah.
and then he meets another girl, and he has sex with her, too.
Yeah. Jeez.
You know how I know it was written by a man? Very little mention of astrology.
You didn't watch the extended cut where Conan talks about how he's a Pisces?
Sometimes I need my feelings to be recognized. You don't give me affirmation.
You Libras!
You Gemini, the two-faced.
You reminded me that in the beginning of the movie, it has a striking amount of culture. Like, it starts with a Nietzsche quote.
Yeah. yeah.
That does not kill me.
You make me stronger.
I can only imagine Arnold sitting there on the studio set one day being like, can we update the quote so it says that which does not kill me is killed by me?
Punch in the face.
But it's kind of cultured for how dumb it is.
It's... So it was a really good script written by who was it?
It wasn't John Milius.
No, it was the original, and he wanted to do it like a James Bond feel, where they have different
gadgets.
Because at the end it shows him as king. It shows him as the king.
Yeah.
But it was written by him. But then they Dilo De
Laurentiis,
the Italian guy, his daughter does a cooking show, and she has perfect teeth and a big head. She's got a big head.
My God, that's a big head.
So it was written by. Well, come on, show me the writers. So Oliver Stone.
Oliver Stone. I've heard that name before.
Yeah, Oliver Stone wrote the treatment, and then John Milius liked it. They brought John Milius in, and John Milius, who's known for writing Apocalypse Now,
Yep.
writing the speech in Jaws,
Dirty Harry,
directing a lot of good movies.
He's responsible for many of the things we know and love.
He's definitely like one of the best storytellers of art, of that era.
At least of a certain type.
Well, absolutely, but he's also like very masculine in the way. Like very masculine in terms of like warrior, kind of like Patton kind of feel. You could describe him as like a Patton character in the film world.
Okay, I have a cornucopia of quotes from him. I'll be dipping into it a few times throughout the show. I'll read you one now. Milius has referred to himself as a Zen fascist, as well as a Zen anarchist. Schwarzenegger, in Arnold Schwarzenegger's autobiography, Total Recall, tells of how producer Dino De Laurentiis originally balked at the casting of the bodybuilder for Conan. I'm paraphrasing. A role Milius had written with Arnold in mind and was truly launched the future governor of California's film career. De Laurentiis said he objected because Schwarzenegger was a Nazi. No, Dino, Milius replied. There is only one Nazi on this team, and that is me. I am the Nazi.
but he says it tongue in cheek.
Of course,
he's very tongue in cheek about it, and that's why he's a man's man.
What would you do? A studio executive asked. If Lee Marvin wouldn't get up for morning call, I'd shoot him in the legs and photograph him from the waist up. Milius replied.
So interesting with him. He's such a great storyteller, and his ability to write, is his strongest point. He's a good director, but his writing is better.
I'd say that the writing, at least on Conan, is very basic, and
it's written for film.
Right, it's
written for film. But the speech that James Earl Jones does, and his character, the way he understands storytelling, like he wrote visually.
Well, I'm giving the movie a compliment in the sense that it's very simple, but the dialogue given and the themes and what happens is what's fun about it and what's good.
And he knew what to do.
He knew what was best in film.
It also like this. So I would describe this film as like a period piece. Even the music, even like down to the music where I watched the making of it, and they didn't really use classical instruments. They tried like these drums and all these different things that are more
felt very foreign.
Yeah, they like gongs, all these different things. Like the opening is awesome with the sword. And
so cool.
Boom, 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 boom. Like that's the whole score is just like primal.
I think I needed to get my testosterone checked after watching that. It went up.
Yeah, it did. it reminded me of like watching Predator and stuff.
Oh yeah, same.
And John Milius was such a he loved history and stuff, so he pulled from real life history with the barbarians, with the Vikings, and all these different things in reality. And I think that's why it was very grounded in reality, and was less fantasy and more warrior and more like Viking and
so Viking.
Yeah, like prehistoric.
Right.
He really understood that, and it was this visual because it reminded me, and I said maybe we should do this film sometime of like Beowulf. I
would like to do that one.
It has this feel to it, and he kind of told a modern Beowulf, through this
kinda.
Yeah, like if it was written then. So I forgot how good this movie is.
I have to agree. It's quite good.
It's not hammy.
I was totally surprised. I expected it to be like just this cheesy 80s movie with Schwarzenegger just being Schwarzenegger, but it was pretty cool. Like,
it's more hammy in the second one. I know.
Let's not sell it short. There's some ham in there, but it's not bad ham.
It's tasteful ham.
It's like olive loaf.
Yeah,
really good olive loaf.
So do you want to describe the plot to to them, Ty, like with or anybody, but you can do it.
Anyone? Let me call
Do you want
somebody.
to say the plot or
So the plot of Conan.
Siri? What's the plot of Conan?
The plot of Conan is like every night around 11:15.
Every year in July.
Every night around 11:15, his show comes on. He's a redhead, you see.
My stories.
That's the plot. Sometimes
Can't wait to hear about those frozen peas.
Yeah. Conan is a redheaded talk host show.
I was waiting for the Conan joke to come in.
I hadn't even thought of that.
That's what I
I'm
was going with.
disappointed.
That's what I was going
Way to go.
with. So talk about
The plot?
Give us a synopsis, a brief synopsis.
Very brief.
So, I mean, we start the movie with Conan as a young child, and he's taught he's not taught the secret of steel, right? Or what is it? The riddle of steel, or what
The
is
riddle
it?
of steel.
The riddle of
It
steel.
opens up with a sword being made.
Yeah, mhm.
Forged.
Right. And then everybody dies except Conan. They all get massacred by Darth Vader and Lemmy and
He's kind of a Darth Vader.
yeah.
Yes.
Well, James Earl Jones, you know.
Yeah.
He's much more charismatic than Darth Vader.
Yeah,
but
that's true. That's true.
Yes. Come.
But and then I love that scene where he's just like has to, what is it, the wheel of suffering or something
Yeah,
like that, where they just like he pushes that
Yeah.
around for.
Do you suppose they were actually grinding anything up, or
Yeah, I was like, what are they doing? Are they making flour? It's like a
this-
baker, like
so-
a demented baker.
So the art director in the scene, like the stage builder, who worked on Aliens, or Alien.
I can see
and
that.
Aliens, but in the script, it was just called this wheel of pain. Yeah. And he was asked John Milius about he's like, does this do anything or just a little bit and probably John Milius is like, no, it's just a wheel of pain.
Milius then pointed a gun at him and told him to shut up.
But he designed it he designed it in a way to make it like grind grain.
Yeah, I imagine it's related
So
to
he
bread
tried to make
somehow.
it realistic, but he said they built it and balanced it so well that when Arnold Schwarzenegger first pushed it, back because it was so smooth. Like it was really easy to push.
would be difficult.
So they said they had extras pushing it while he was doing some stuff, but they said they
That's
balanced
funny.
it so well that it was so easy for him to push it.
well built,
But
me.
But yeah, like me. But it's just like the drums and everything. But the casting of the little boy is like, that's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, it looks like him.
Yeah.
Like it's I mean, it legitimately looks like young Arnold Schwarzenegger, or what I assume.
Yeah,
he
it was
looked
it was a good fit. Only one thing I want to know: how did he get so built pushing that?
What
Yeah,
were they
that's-
feeding
That's kind of a
him?
leg exercise more than
Yeah.
anything else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just here's your daily dose of
Here's
creatine.
beef.
Arnold.
For all we know, he ate all the people who died pushing the wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cannibal in this. But go on. So he pushes the wheel.
No, that's the movie. That's where I ended. That was it.
He cut
That's
it off
it?
there. It was perfect.
Yeah.
It was a good reveal shot of him where he had the long hair covering his face and he tilted his head up.
They
in
said
transition.
it in I watched the thing. They said in the live audience, John Milius knew that it was going to get a big reaction to reveal Arnold Schwarzenegger because this is like his first big movie and people knew who he was. You know, he was.
Right.
And then the audience, when they revealed it was Arnold Schwarzenegger, like everybody cheer, like yeah.
Is that the goofball from Pumping Iron?
Yeah. Yeah. So this is
All
his
the
first
day I'm coming.
doing it.
You've seen Pumping Iron, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very charismatic.
I haven't seen Pumping Iron.
All right. Where after the wheel thing, he gets freed, right?
No. He gets sold to another guy.
But the guy breaks his chains in the night.
later on, after he
after he wins a bunch
makes
of
I'm
him
fights.
skipping. It's a synopsis.
Yeah, after
No,
he
no,
makes
no,
him a
we're doing this very,
well. He makes him a
very
gladiator, and he gladiates.
Yeah, he gladiates.
Hey,
He learns he likes killing.
Yeah, like gladiates.
Go up to the front desk. Do you gladiate?
I do. And, like,
Where's the stamp?
he pulls out some glad bags. You got anything to throw away?
I love his first fight because he's just like,
what- he's
he's,
not knowing-
like, hey friend, and then this guy's
Yeah,
just like
yeah.
biting his neck.
I think that's his most over the top Arnoldage.
So
Yeah.
what's great about it is that in making, John Milius makes a really good point that he wanted to show that Conan was mortal. I mean, like he's getting hurt. He almost dies. Like there's
Guy
a lot.
bit his neck.
Right.
It's not so easy for him.
Yeah.
he's not a Mary Sue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
He's not
The term would be
invincible.
Gary Stew.
yeah, Gary Stu. I am Gary.
Conan, he's just a Gary Stew,
Yeah.
man.
But so
He had to work for it.
It was kind of a realistic thing. Even though he's strength, he's still raw.
right.
You know, and then he learns how to train with the sword and all this stuff, and he becomes and he figures out his purpose. Because he has no purpose now, and then he has a purpose, kind of like the movie Gladiator. You know,
Yeah.
Kind
You
of
could
depicts
say, oh, that's a good bit of metaphor there. He doesn't say a word until 20 minutes into the movie. And that's about the time when he finds his voice, his purpose.
yeah, and it was really good, and like even though it was just a fake, Milius was showing like a real reality of what happened like in prehistoric times. You know, where and we're not saying prehistoric times in terms of dinosaur, but prehistory with like the Vikings and stuff, where they made him, you know, like an animal. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
Like that's pulled out of reality. You know, like
There
he's a
were
specimen.
gladiator fights. Yes.
Yeah, but like they treat them like animals. You know.
It was
Well, like they throw
barbaric,
wind-
you could say.
Yeah, very much so. Did you
Then
know?
he gets freed.
Yeah.
And it gets free because the slave just has like the owner respects him, you know, and
Right, yeah.
it's like a dog that can't be tamed anymore. They said.
And speaking
wanted
of
a
dogs,
scene-
then he gets chased by the dog.
Right.
And speaking the voice, the narrator,
Aku,
Yeah.
the shape-shifting master of darkness.
yeah, from Samurai Jack.
Yeah. It was,
Oh, that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone made a reference to that I was talking to, and I didn't get it.
Yeah.
yeah.
And Conan.
I didn't
You know.
watch
And it
Samurai
was, yeah,
Jack.
I was
Samurai
surprised. He was like a
Jack.
character, too. Like in
Yes,
the,
it
in
was.
the-
I didn't know what it looked like. That's what it
Yeah.
really looks like. I think
Actually,
it
I
was-
did watch one episode of Samurai Jack, and it had some Scotsman in it.
Yes.
Yeah,
the
you were talking
Scotsman.
about the
I was
Scotsman,
earlier,
yeah.
yes, with the machine gun leg.
Yeah. Machine gun leg.
Totally, yeah, for sure.
Drink Perrier.
Yeah.
From the depths of the earth. Every barbarian loves Perrier.
Perrier, if you're listening, we'll plug your product endlessly if you throw us a few dollars.
This is delicious and fresh.
It is.
Make sure to have the label facing front. There you go.
Come back to me.
Yeah.
For sophisticated barbarians. Perrier.
Pierre.
Pierre. Mr. Pierre. Anyway, so back to the
We better talk about the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So go on.
You remember that part? You remember that part
Remember
where
that
he
guy
finds
with the big
sword?
muscles and the axe?
No, he finds an old little mausoleum type thing of some ancient king.
There
Yeah.
are so many places in that movie where there are just like a bunch of skeletons hanging out. And I was thinking, wouldn't that be funny if like in modern day we still experience like that? Like you go to the wrong gas station and there's just skeletons everywhere. And you're like, ah.
It's like a guy filling up like
Yeah.
this, like at the gas station.
Who do I pay for
Yeah.
the gas, sir?
In olden times, there was many more skeletons.
So
just hanging
apparently,
out.
so in that when I listened to the making of it, so they talk about like so you said that James Earl Jones kind of stands out a little bit, but John Milius talks about how he was so unique, different, and even though it looks kind of it doesn't make sense.
beautiful hair.
with beautiful hair. But he said he pictured him because they talk about Atlantis, the city of Atlantis, the last dying.
Oh, yeah.
He pictures him as an Atlantean.
Oh wow.
And then he's like the last of his race, and like he's a different race. You know what I mean? And that's why he looks.
Well,
so,
he was able to turn into a snake.
and he did look different. You know, he did look different. So he said that's how he pictured kind of him. And they talk about the cave kind of being an Atlantean king. You know that he falls into as well. But also they say it could be the his god Kron or whatever.
Crom.
Krom. Yeah. And like it was cool. So he falls in the cave after getting chased from the dogs.
And then,
And then
so he finds his sword, his from the king that's there, the skeleton king.
and it's still sharp somehow.
Yeah, it's very deadly still. It's in perfect condition.
Well, he sharpens it.
He cuts the chains in there before sharpening it. I was a little.
Yeah, but he like. So what is that crust around the sword? Because he
It was
knocked
probably
off.
just web and dust.
peanut butter.
Yeah.
They were making sandwiches with it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
That might explain why. You know that little cave didn't have a lot of elements to it, so the sword might not have dulled that much over time.
Anyways,
That's true. That's true.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be
I can
like
forgive that.
preserved, right?
Yeah.
He fell
Preserved
in
in a perfect coating of web.
and then he wanders to this witch's house.
there.
He's like, "I got warmth and fire,"
Yeah. Come on,
that
everybody.
was
on
her
it.
voice.
and she's holding like a little baby.
That's like
In
the
trailer-
one
it's like
scene
going- it's like going to the trailer park.
I feel like that scene was a little extraneous. Like it didn't do a whole lot.
I think it was going to come back later because they wanted to make these multiple movies.
Like the witch was going to come back. And
Yeah.
Okay.
She didn't come back, but it was kind of a cool sequence.
It was cool, but it could have been cut.
It made me laugh.
But
when
he met his guy there.
yeah.
Yeah, just cut to the end of that scene.
With the sigil, where they start talking about it. It sounded like two stoners describing what they're going to put on the side of their old 70s van. Like, we'll have two snakes eating each other. And then she's like, yeah, and a sun over it, and a moon underneath. And he's like,
Dude,
yeah.
the hospital already has the caduceus.
It's like, yeah, I need a sigil, man.
For those not having seen the movie, the thing they're talking about, the two snakes, that's the sigil of the Tulsa Doom's cult. Is it Tulsa or Thulsa? I forget.
I think Tulsa.
Yeah, Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Tulsa,
You know.
Oklahoma Doom.
Tulsa Doom.
Oh.
Welcome to Tulsa Doom National Park right over here. Tulsa Doom, no, Tulsa Doom. If you wander off the path, you're going to be doomed.
So after he tosses the witch in the fire,
Don't feed the Conans.
Sorry, I've been to Oklahoma before.
Oh, what a beautiful Conan.
As you were saying, Ty, if we don't stop him now, he'll never stop.
Can you imagine Arnold Schwarzenegger in Oklahoma, like the musical? Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. My, what a wonderful feeling. Get down. Get to the chopper. Everything's going my way. I don't know you. It's not. I do a better Arnold than that, but
Oh, we believe you. We believe you.
I don't.
The story goes. I find that the plot is not the intrinsic good of the movie. Forget the plot. It's about his personal growth. We're talking about him finding his way.
So Milius described the first. He wanted to make 3 movies, and the original writer, I forgot his name already, wanted to do like a series of 10 movies.
10.
Yeah, and every other year, kind of make him a James Bond character.
It was a Marvel movie.
Yeah,
20 years.
but he said the first one is about raw strength and responsibility.
I agree with that.
He said the second one he wanted to make that he didn't make, someone else made it, was tradition and loyalty. About tradition and loyalty, how he's loyal, tradition. And
Okay.
the last one, if I can read my writing, I can't read my.
You wrote.
I can't read my.
Did you take a picture of your notes?
Oh no, the second one's about responsibility. No, the second one's about responsibility. The first one about raw strength. So like the last one is about tradition and loyalty. Yeah. So like yeah, I combined 2. So like, so he wanted the different growth of Conan.
Mm-hmm.
And that I find is the focal point of the story. It's about a man growing up and learning what is best in life.
Mm-hmm.
What is best in life, Ben?
Revenge and plunder the women.
Yeah, that's a good,
Yeah,
good truncated version. Yeah.
That was a pretty good Arnold. Right?
That was
These are
perfect.
lunches. Are you eating other Conan people's lunches?
Conan people's lunch.
Yes, I'm a Conan people. Anyways,
Ready for another Milius quote?
yes.
Oh, always.
Quote, I think they should give Harvey Weinstein to the Taliban. I'd like to see him on the other side. I'd like to hunt him down in a cave.
I like John Milius.
And this is years ago that he said this.
Wow. So sad. I'm going to jump in. Milius, there's a documentary called Milius about him that's really good. It talks about all his contributions to cinema. And at the very end of it, we find out, like not too long ago, like I don't remember, like in the 2000 teens, he had a stroke. And he couldn't write anymore. He couldn't physically write.
Wow.
And that was his strongest thing. So it's like cutting a hand off an artist who, he can't paint anymore. But slowly he's getting it back, but he found another way of doing it so he could talk and someone help him. But it's real sad, but I think he can start writing again. But he can't talk very well right now. It's like, so I think he's getting it back though, but stroke, my grandfather had a
That can
stroke.
mess you up for good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's just so sad,
Yeah.
You have this great storyteller, this great mountain of a man that is crazy, you limit him, but he's still fighting. He's still fighting to do
Right.
it. And they're actually, I don't know where it is, but they're talking about to do King Conan
Yes,
Really?
he's the perfect age for
with
it.
Arnold as the old
That'd be
Conan.
really cool.
You know what I mean?
That'd be the first time I'd be
And John
excited for a
Milius
movie
trying
in
to be
a while.
involved with it, but I guess they remade Conan the Barbarian.
2011.
I guess it was
With,
terrible.
Jason
I
Momoa,
heard that
right?
it was like okay, but pointless.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's my little John Milius thing. This guy's an amazing storyteller, and I
Yes.
think it's tragic that he had a stroke and stuff. And I really like him. Really like him as a filmmaker. And what
Last
he's
John
gonna do.
Milius quote. Milius tries to have a conference with screenwriter, with Pauline Kael, some New Yorker film critic. A message comes back. Kael wants to know if Milius, who in meetings with executives was fond of displaying pistols, is armed.
Yeah.
Tell her I'm not armed, Milius says, but I myself am a weapon. Hard to read from this angle.
I love this man.
Myself am a
I would love to. I would love to sit and listen to him tell him stories. I mean, this guy's a.
He's like an honorary dad.
Well, he's like Patton. Like he's
Yes.
he's like he's like a person from a different time.
He was on the
in this era.
he was on the board of directors for the NRA for 6 years.
Whoa.
Wow.
Loves his guns.
Yeah.
I think that was his
Those who's good.
that was his accepted payment for the writing of Dirty Harry was the Magnum gun.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
He said, "I just want the gun."
I just want the gun.
They gave him 3 weeks to write that script. Did you know that?
Wow. That's impressive.
He is impressive. Apocalypse Now.
I'd say Apocalypse Now is kind of a mess, but I don't know if that's the writing or the directing.
Well, the Francis Ford Coppola talks about the helicopter sequence when they get done.
Yeah.
It's like Flight of the Valkyrie, right?
Right.
It's
Yes.
and he said in the screenwriting notes, Flight of the Valkyrie plays as so those choices, like some of those bold choices that we know, like now we associate Vietnam with the Flight of the Valkyrie,
Right.
with that is all John Milius, and he credits him. That's why I like Coppola. Like he's not going to take credit for something he didn't do.
He's also responsible for one of my favorite movie lines of all time. Charlie doesn't surf.
Yeah,
You can either fight or you can surf.
that's
That was kind of a tangent. Let's get back to Conan.
and he was a big surfer.
And then
too.
Conan.
Right,
is in,
right.
No, this is important. This is important about.
It's
the
talking
person-
about the
writer,
director of the movie.
the person. So, but anyway, so go back to the story.
Well, no, the story's not important. We're running long anyway, almost.
We're at 0.
Timer says, zero. So
We haven't used the timer today. The important thing about Conan is that it's a big, dumb action movie with lots of smart decisions. That's what I take away from
I think
it.
that's a really good way to put it.
Yeah.
It has...
But it's not cheaping it.
No, that doesn't mean that
No.
it's cheap. I just mean it's injected with testosterone, but it doesn't lose its head.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's like Predator. Predator's a very
It
smart,
does lose
dumb movie.
It does lose his head. James Earl Jones and Mom.
You're being too literal.
I know. You're right. It's exactly like Predator, and it's done, and like so. Milius also said this. And I thought this was a good when talking about the movie. He says he didn't have. Now the violence is jarring, but it's not gratuitous. He says to me, violence. This is his quote. To me, violence that is really repugnant. Or to me, violence is really repugnant when it cheapens human life. So he doesn't like when it's like this over the top and stupid, like gore porn. He said,
We're looking at you, Eli Roth.
So even though this movie is violent,
Each kill
it
serves a purpose.
respects the life. It's like
Yeah.
it's not making fun of it.
Yeah.
And I think that that's the best way to use violence when you don't cheapen human life. You know what I mean? Because it actually
You
values,
just end it.
Well, you value the life.
Yes.
You value life. Even the bad guys.
It's a closeout sale.
It's terrible. It's not.
That's the
It's not
value.
gratuitous violence. It's like this. Whoa! It's done tastefully, even though it's rough. You know.
And it was toned down from the book, I'm told.
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't the movie originally get like an X rating?
They
And
kept
had to-
changing it.
Yeah.
changing
I think
it,
the
yeah.
version I watched was the X-rated one.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I mean, even like the sequence we were talking about. So basically, this movie's a revenge story
Yes.
because James Earl Jones comes and kills his family, and then has this giant cult, and basically he comes and kills them, and like they build this awesome set. And but I was gonna get to something. Gosh darn it! It was
This is what we get when Matt's not here.
no, we're doing pretty good.
Yeah, we're doing okay.
We don't need him. Oh, he's
We
watching.
need Matt. We need you.
I need him. But oh gosh, what was I talking about? You guys talk amongst yourself while I forgot
Favorite
what-
scene, Ty. Go.
Oh man, that's a tough one. There was a lot of really cool scenes. My favorite, the scene I probably enjoyed the most was when Conan was being resurrected and they animated in the spirits trying
Yeah.
to take him up.
Yep.
I thought that just looked
It's
so cool.
You
And
know
just
anything
like,
about that technique?
Aku was like,
Is
you
it
know,
rotoscoping?
hiding in his.
It is hand animated spirits done on cells, and that's the normal part. But then they rephotograph the cells on like a liquid, so it's like moving and stuff. It was a weird
Interesting.
optical effect, but it's all optical, and that's pretty.
I think
cool.
ILM handled that.
That was ILM, yeah.
And the sets are amazing. All those stones were all styrofoam.
Really?
They put all those up. Like they put all this up, and it's amazing.
Shades of
and that
Star Trek.
big step, like that was built.
That was
It was
built.
built. And it was awesome into the mountain. They said like John Milius looked at it and was like, "Can we make it bigger? I want to higher." Like, John, that's huge.
We could use a couple
That's a
hundred
big step.
extra
They don't have
yards.
the money. You know, they had to put special support beams on it.
Really?
Yeah,
And built
Because it would collapse the mountainside?
yeah.
They had to build
No,
all
it would
those
just-
snake
it would
tunnels
just
for
collapse.
James
'Cause
Earl
they
Jones.
they had a lot of yeah. So gosh, I thought of it. I knew what I was going to say. Oh no! So like we were talking about the scene that was really powerful with James Earl Jones because he said, "I'm abandoning steel. Flesh is the truth." Like that monologue was awesome. And then he shows him, "Come," you know, and he
Right.
points at the girl standing there, and she just jumps.
That was a really
Powerful scene.
I that was a mouth agape moment.
So apparently in the orgy sequence that they had, they're cannibals. They're eating people and they make cannibal stew.
Right.
And they feed. It's just like
What
crazy
gives it that
cold.
green color? Pesto or what do you think?
I think it's Pepto-Bismol.
I thought it was some kind of minty concoction the first time I saw it. Then I saw fingers. and I
Shamrock
was like,
Shake
oh,
is back.
Soylent Green is cannibals.
So like green, it is.
Yeah.
It's made of people. Silent Green. That's where. Maybe that's where it's from. But yeah, so like there's a lot of little things like the. I don't know.
We're doing good. You know what?
Yeah.
My favorite part about this movie is that Conan has his friends with him the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's cool that he falls in love, you know. And
Yeah.
And that it was earned. Everything was pretty much earned and believable. It wasn't, and she wasn't the most beautiful woman of all the women in the movie, but she was a warrior, like a Valkyrie.
Right. Yeah.
You know, he loves Vikings, John Milius, but like it was a true. When he left her, she was really sad. You know what I mean? Because she was a loner. You know, like that was all believable. You know,
Yeah.
it was all very believable,
Very
and
human story.
but also grounded. It wasn't like ridiculous. And you said like what your favorite scene was. My favorite scene when he punched the damn camel.
The camel.
He punched the camel.
Who needs blazing saddles
Did
when
he
you have
really
Conan?
punch it because it moved?
It looked like he punched that camel.
Yeah.
I mean, it really
If
did.
it wasn't a real punch, he faked it pretty well.
Yeah.
I felt bad for the camel because it kind of staggers and then it falls
Yeah.
over. It takes a
And
second.
everybody's like, "Oh, let's get out of here."
I think we don't belong here.
No.
It's time to leave Tulsa.
It's a silly
He
place.
just punched the camel.
You leave that camel alone.
I paid 10 pieces of silver for that camel.
Yeah. They cost $20 a pack.
All right, let's rate the movie.
So one of my other
One?
favorite scenes is when
okay.
he's being crucified
Right.
and the buzzard comes in. That's such a John Milius.
That's so
As
Milius.
campy as it was, it worked. It really worked.
It was
like-
entirely in line with how Conan is.
because he talked about it like it was the opposite of Jesus. The gods aren't helping him. No one's helping him. He's being crucified, and he's still fighting. You know, like he's never given up.
To be fair, his faithful sidekick shows up.
yeah. at the end. But it was just cool. Like the cinematography was like grounded, but it was just raw. It felt raw and good, you know. Like, and we don't get a movie like that. Like, I guess the new one is so digital that it's just like I'm tired of CGI, man.
They made it feel like the Earth was just so old. You know, you felt like you were just back in this time. Like they really did the scenes and stuff really well.
Apparently, Arnold like got really bitten by the dogs.
Really?
Yep. And apparently, the what's her name almost lost a finger in one of the sword fights. One of the extras almost like she had to go.
Yeah, because she did her own stunts.
Yeah.
Arnold did most of his stunts too, I believe.
he said when he falls in the cave, he's bleeding. That's good. It looks good, but I'm bleeding. No, it's good. That looks great. It looks real.
It's very painful.
That's funny, but it's just
My pay is not enough.
But Arnold can thank that movie for starting his career. You know, that was.
And I can thank him for that movie because it was good to see.
And it's timeless. Like not too much later, Terminator came out with him in it. And that's dated. The first Terminator.
Yeah. I prefer this to Terminator, I gotta say.
This is timeless.
Very timeless. Now let's rate the movie. Ty, as our guest, you will rate first.
Shoot. So like last time I feel like I rated high. What's like a just as like a barometer, what's like a 10 for you guys? Like a high.
There are no
high
10s.
rated. No 10s.
Godfather.
The closest thing.
You know, I'd say like a 7. I really like this movie.
That's a good rating.
That's a good rating.
I'd probably give it a 7 too. 7 because I think it, and the reason why is just like it's very intelligently done and knows what it is. And it's like you won't get a movie like this today. Not like this.
Yeah. I miss
it definitely speaks to me. This movie is just badass.
In some
the
language.
drums and the, like this.
As you're grinding your grain every morning, pushing
and the
your
opera.
wheel.
Like man, John Milius is. It's a shame that he had a stroke, man. He needed to do more. But I think maybe because he was a conservative in Hollywood, you know that, he wasn't as fruitful. Because I looked at his IMDb, he didn't really direct a lot of movies after that, But I didn't look at his writing, so I don't know.
Hollywood does hate their conservatives.
He likes guns.
All right, my turn. We're getting a 777 tonight, boys. All 3 sevens.
Ding ding ding
Yeah.
ding.
This is a very good movie. It's, as I've said, it's got a lot of brains, but it doesn't spoil it by being goofy.
No,
It's-
I guess the second one is goofy.
A lot of brains, a lot of brawn, a good mix. Yeah, I liked it a lot, and I think I'll watch it again.
Me too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I kind of want to watch the second one now.
I probably will.
I guess Andre the Giant and Wilt Chamberlain are in those ones. I remember seeing both, and the second one goes magical.
Yeah,
It's like, I like the rawness of this one. Like it feels grounded a little bit.
Yeah, the magic's definitely like in the background. It's
Yeah.
not like super important. It
Yeah,
doesn't
it's
feel
very
like
subtle. Subtle.
subtle. Yes,
subtle.
Yeah.
Well, I think that does it for our matless stream today.
What time? How long was that?
We are at 37 minutes, almost 38.
Oh, we could have done 40.
Nah, we're all right. We've covered everything we need to cover. Next week, I believe.
Next time.
Since Matt's not here to tell me, no, we're doing Crawl next week.
Oh,
Have you seen Crawl, Ben?
I'm not.
I have seen it before. I thought it was worth another watch. So
What is Crawl about?
it's about the Crawl.
Right on. For sure, man.
I like the Crawl.
It's not just another snake cult, is it?
Yeah.
Can I have 5 chicken wings and a
A
Crawl?
Crawl, please. Thank you.
Does that come with the crawls, or do you have to leave that separate?
Do you have crullers?
Yeah.
You got them deep fried curlers in here.
All right.
All right.
Tune in next week. Thank you for joining us again, Ty.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's always a blast.
So-
I
Flesh
can't
and
change the
steel.
camera. I'm trying to change the camera.
You don't
The software's
know the
fighting me.
power of the-
Hey, there you go. Okay, bye.
Conan.